There's a market for dork. It's fine. It's fine. This is a few steps above Frozen Elsa poops in a microwave, okay? Like, it's better overall content. You guys got little fire arrows. That's so cool. I would not want to learn, like, don't try to teach anyone archery, okay? There's archery people out there. You know what I mean?
Straight historical content. Well, simply, this is where he should just make the content.
It's weird to say straight historical content and then have your editor literally having you hold up the Master Sword. I'm just saying. Like, can we get...
pop culture fight scenes or fantasy weapons, and there are straight historical content. Well, simply, this is where...
straight historical content. You remember, like, when Link, the hero of Hyrule, pulled the Master Sword free and then defeated Ganon in the Shadow Realm, saving the 7 princesses of the same Lord Lady Zelda returned to the 30, like, historical content. Does someone in your fucking does one of your fucking employees actually secretly hate you because that's such a wild fucking edit?
And we'll be very happy to continue making the content we love making. I don't think it's an unfortunate or depressing thing at all that there is so much content talking about pop culture and swords. It's fun and I love it. But Sellsword Art seems to actually have an issue with that there should be made less of it. And that you should not watch it as much as you do. And then he says he feels...
Okay. We all watched Sellsword's video. I don't think we need we don't need to watch the entire hour of the Cope stream, but what we can do is skip ahead to watch this guy justify his amalgamation. Also, this dude,
swordsmanship.
This dude's got a based face. He looks like a dude I was in the Marines with who was really cool. And I hope that he's not actually cringe. So I've been skipping past parts where he talks because he reminds me of a dude that was really fucking cool. And I hope he is actually still cool. Guy, if you're out there, bald dude, you run if you can because you look too fucking cool.
Historically, from a treatise or from a master.
No, that's true. They had their own master, but a lot of the time the treatises came about in the Renaissance period when it was a lot of dueling. So it's same weapon versus same weapon.
We try to make the content that not only we enjoy, that hopefully you guys enjoy as well.
So I mentioned that Sellsword Arts is guilty of...
Okay, also, this is a thing I noticed. There's only one black guy in the entirety of the extended Shadiversity, and it is his stab dummy. Which I don't think anyone else has ever pointed out before, but am I crazy? Because that's a black guy stab dummy, right? With like a really broad nose and like a heavy head. Where did you find that? All of the punch dummies I have ever seen in my life are the standard I've never seen one that looks like that in my life. Hold on. Punch dummy foam. I guess maybe in America they all look different. It's this guy. This dude. This guy is everywhere. This little fella, all right? This is who you beat up on in America. Like this generic looking fucking fella. Sometimes he's green. Like they've even got one who's got like a broken nose, but it's still, you know, whatever. It's Bob. I have never in my fucking life ever seen like a black dude one. I guess this is him right here. I kind of look down. $269. Boxing honey badger wall mounted punching bag. Is that this guy? But yeah, I'm looking at a bunch of them. It's just Bob. It's just these different ones. I have never seen one that looks like that. I'm just saying. Stop focusing on the stuff that doesn't matter to the topic, please. Shut the fuck up. How about that? How about break your fingers before commenting next time?
Test. In that video, he does something interesting where the double-bladed sword they're using...
those are the generic Australian punching bunnies. I've never seen the one in his yard.
Like this, where it's separated.
What the fuck? You know, it's like... If you've ever been to a shooting range, right? There is this one human target, right? Which is like this married guy. He's got a little ring and he's an old white dude with a hoodie on pointing a gun at you at the shooting range. and he's like got the weirdest stance, and that's the shooting range target that's like everywhere if it's the person target. It's very clearly like some retired cop, you know, who thought that would be funny. And then like sometimes you're like where did you guys find black dudes shooting targets? That's strange. Like the Osama bin Laden ones that popped up in the mid 2000s, like that was like, that made sense. But then like every once in a while, you're like, okay, you guys I see you have the generic white dude shooting target that we've all been shooting at for, given the way he's dressed, I think 40 years, maybe 50 years. Why did you add a black dude target? We didn't really need it. It's just paper, you know, we didn't need another target, but like, why did you add a black dude with a do-rag target?
They overlap their handles to the point where you can't even grip the pommel on the swords, and you're forced to hold it like this. It's pretty darn obvious. And many people mention...
Can I just say, this thing is fucking huge. Like, this is an absurdly big weapon. This is... At any point in history, this would be a novelty. I'm just speaking from my experience as a person that was in the military. You went in the military in 1622. No, but trust me, I've been in that military. Because it's always just the same thing. Once you've been sitting around a group of 400 dudes that all shit in the same like hole in the woods, you understand where the patterns reemerge. And like this, you're not using it because it points at the enemy, but also at friend side. I guess maybe if you think like you're going to be getting in a lot of fights where you have to kill somebody that you can't see behind you, that's kind of cool. But I don't understand how this improves anything over shit that you have to use more metal, which means it's going to be heavier. You already have whatever, the 18-foot long cavalry pikes for horses and shit. You have halberds, all right? You have spears. You have glaives, right? Why do you need extra Sharpie sharp on the back? And it's so big. And clearly it's not very easy to hold because he's got it on his back the entire time. So it's probably testing his grip out. I mean, what does this thing got to weigh? Like, these are big, right? Aren't these like 4 to 5 pounds per? So it's 10 pounds. The middle of it has no grip. They probably looked at yours and they're like, well, maybe we should put the hilts together because having just an uncomfortable L-shaped piece of fucking a bent 90-degree L chunk of metal is probably not the most comfortable thing to hold when I'm doing my sparring for a while. There are Chinese spears that have bladed butt, but it's like way shorter. Like I've seen all kinds of ones. Yeah, the ones that I've seen that were like real are like the ones that goes like this and then it curves on both sides a little bit because you would kind of implicitly, if you can't get like a slash out of this thing, then what's the point of the back end having a blade on it at all? So you would want it to be like a curved and not like these are definitely like this is a stabbing weapon, right? Because it's all pointy at the end. Hyper pointy. So like wouldn't you want it to be slicey? Like why wouldn't you just use the slicey types? Doesn't this guy hate katanas? You could just duct tape 2 of those fucking things together and it's the same thing, right? I don't understand, like from my admittedly limited, you know, I've only fucking studied the entire classical period when I was in college and fucking the Attic and all those wars, the Peloponnesian Wars and that stuff, hoplites, the dudes, you know, and then to a lesser extent, Romans. I don't understand in any way, shape, or form how this is a valuable asset to anyone. I mean, I could see like trying to say like I'm going to use it because I don't know, I want to. That's fine. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing as those you know, like the little spinny deals and the guy puts his foot on it and it flies. It's got a little knife. Like those are really cool for interpersonal fights, I guess. But like you couldn't use it in an army because you got to fucking swing it behind your head and shit first. And like you got to throw it out. Eventually it's going to get fucking caught on something. You know what I mean? This is just, there's so much to maintain. There's so much possibility of rust. The best part about all of the old infantry stuff when it's wood is everything breaks. Like you gotta really fucking go back in time. Everything in the infantry is constantly breaking. All of it. Your weapons, your fucking shoes, the thing you sleep on, your fucking vehicles, the people around you, everything's breaking, right? So you want to be able to fix it real good. When something like this breaks, you're like losing chunks of metal and shit, you know what I mean? And it's going to be hard to replace. If you train someone up in this, you have to remake it every time. When you just have a spear or like a glaive, like, okay, the thing that's probably going to break most is the haft, and then it's just wood, and then I just got to go get a good stick and fucking put it back in the slot, you know what I mean? Whittle it down a little bit, and if the glaive pops off, you could stab him with the fucking stick. This thing breaks, like, where does it go? You know what I mean? Like, if you're scrapping and shit, and it's got like a chip or whatever the fuck, I don't know, and it snaps off on the back end, like, what the fuck is going on back there? Like, it just, there's too many, like, inevitabilities with something that's this weirdly big and definitely expensive and definitely cumbersome that I don't understand the point of having it at all in a general sense, other than just saying, like, this is a novel weapon, which I feel like you don't have to defend. You're just like, I made a goofy thing because of Darth Maul. Because none of us thought about these things, and then 2000s, Darth Maul. And then we're like, oh, sword with two sides because laser sword. And then, yeah. But like historically, you don't see a lot of people fucking running out with this. It's like they'll find like one army that had a guy that did it like on the side. All the rest of the people in the army, pointy stick, baby. Pointy stick all day. Throw pointy stick. Make another one. Fucking stick guy with pointy stick come right back out, baby. Use pointy stick together, tent, bitch. Guy gets knocked out, tent piece, 2 pointy stick, litter, carry him away. Pointy stick based. Extra sword, lame. I'd talk like, swords are cool. If I ever had to fight anybody with anything, I'm spears all day. The longer the fucking better. 2 of them. I'll fight somebody with 2 fucking spears all fucking day before I try to do some sword shit. Spam that. You fight without honor. Yeah, and I'm gonna fight again tomorrow. I'm gonna fight. Keep your ass away. I got the long spear, and when you get too close, I got the short spear. I'm gonna fucking stick you in the legs and shit. What? Watch out for my eyes. This one's a trident. I can fucking miss. I'm gonna stab you right in your fucking shin. Try to do all that fancy shit now, Mr. Shinless. That's just like the military version of it. It's just goofy as fuck. I've never respected anything more than when I was learning about gladiators, and like one guy has a net and a fucking fishing spear and is just cheating. Like he just throws the net on you. Like, what do? You fucking swing your fucking sword at it. It's a 50-foot wide fucking net. He just catches you. Then you're in a net trying to stay, and he's fucking like 8 feet away from you. I've got a gladius and a stupid fucking hat on. Yeah, I'm stabbing you with a fucking Get. Fucking what a king. The day that guy showed up, everyone loved that guy. Everyone like, what the fuck? What's he doing? Like, he just showed up with shit he had at work, like a fucking trident for fishing. It's a fish spear. It's got the extra points, so if you miss, it's got another point. This guy's been like, I fought guys with spears before. Like, oh shit, this motherfucker got 3 points? I thought I dodged. He caught me right in my fucking carotid. I'm absolutely profoundly based weapon. Fucking snagging people's legs up and shit. What a fucking prick. What a king. Kicking sand in their face. Everybody else is out here like, I would fight with, I'm going to be, fuck, with all due respect to the Hema people, I kind of want to see historic Greek martial art, historic Roman martial arts. The whole like fighting with swords, I understand the appeal of it, but I really, really want to see some fucking absolutely jacked Greek and Roman dudes beating the fuck out of each other with cestises. You know that it's just like, what did you do? What weapon are you bringing here? I made a metal glove and then I put punching pieces on it. I found out that I'm bad at sword fighting, but if I put metal on my arms, he can't slice through them. And so I block it and then I punch his head until his head splits open. You truly are the glory of Rome. Thank you, sir. Man, you got all your little shit. You're trying to fucking Avada Kedavra, dude, with your sword. Yeah. Guy's just fucking peekaboos you like Mike Tyson. Flop, 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 flop. I'm gonna punch you until I can see through all those little tiny holes, you son of a bitch. The last thing you ever hear is just the fucking metal starts bending towards your eyes. Dude, base gladiators. Absolutely tremendous. Roman shields were so heavy they had to carry them or come back on them. What? They had the big wooden tower shields, didn't they? I don't know. Were they that heavy? I think they're heavy because you just stick them in the ground, right? Clump, stab, stab, stab. Clump, stab, stab, stab. I appreciate it when fucking you actually get into military history and it's just simple as fuck. What do you guys do? Like, well, they're too stupid. They're a bunch of illiterate peasants. But if we make them stand together and hold pieces of wood that are next to each other all the way across, the other guys can't stab through them. And then these cheating fucks just stab them over the top of the wood. They do what now? Your new name's Cato Africanus, bitch. I know it's not Cato that invented hoplites or anything, but I just wanted to say. Each punch on your helmet is progressively louder, a hundo.
Means that if you had a larger grip, you would have performed better.
Oh, like being dragged
and
home
his
on a shield?
response to it was to disagree, sometimes outright dismiss, but also say that increasing the grip would have no real effect. This is an assumption that would only come upon someone who has never tested in real life. In fact, we can prove it. It's difficult to understand how someone who claims to be a true swordsman, that practices the art in a much pure, legitimate way, would not understand.
Yeah, I was having so much fun, and then I started listening to Shad talking.
Leverage will give you on a weapon, especially a weapon that is admittedly heavier than normal. So to prove this, we have here, what would you call one of these? It's a weight gauge? Scale. All right? We have a scale here that will measure the force we can pull on this in kilos, and we will show you the amount of force that you can pull on this.
I'm actually fascinated. I skipped past this part earlier.
David has.
Is my man standing on a crowbar? He is. Why is he standing on a crowbar?
Remember, it cuts off the pommel.
I told you guys this dude's the most based. This guy right here is probably fucking wasted. My man had like 16 oil cans and then showed up at the fucking I'm gonna fucking hang out with the fucking castle guy again. We fucking duct tape two swords together. You guys call him a cunt, but he's fucking fun.
Well, the hands are basically side by side, right?
He taped it to an L-bar.
The one
fucking slotted L-bar.
Here actually has a wider grip than the ones in our initial video, because a wider grip, even wider than what we had, will offer even greater leverage to be able to maneuver this thing fast, okay?
Is this not like, if you know anything about history, this has happened before, where just some noble comes to the fucking front line, is like, I have figured out how to make you all the most deadly people. I'm going to take two of your swords and fix the... He's just got a bunch of, like, peasants staring at him, like, we've got to go kill so many French people tomorrow. Can you wrap this up, your lordship? But also, yet again, the fucking feet.
And so, we probably won't even go to the full length of this one, but have a comparison between the grip they have, like so, compared to just the standard length grip we had in our first video, not even the full one. So the way to test this...
But here's the thing, too. When you have your arms further apart, you have more torque, but you have less rotation because your arms can't move as much. So you're losing tons of mobility, which is why you tend not to, like, attack with the back of a spear. You've got your arms really far apart. You can stab with it super fucking hard, and with that second point, you're torquing, you can move things aside with it, you know what I mean? You can, like, try to push down on the edge of a shield, move somebody's fucking head out of the way, whatever the fuck. Like, that's what but it makes the back end considerably less useful. You have to, like, put your whole body into it to rotate in. Like, it's wild.
And show that we're actually not getting the benefit of torque, like you can usually, like having our greater torque, which is the distance from the lever point, right? We're going to keep the torque point exactly the same. Tyrant is going to be the one lifting, and the first grip will be like this. Second grip, like this. But don't move this hand, that's the key. So it is on 0.
Ready?
Yep. Now wider grip.
Oh, hold on. How much fucking... This is kilos, right? This better be kilos, because if he just fucking only was able to put in 35 fucking pounds on that, that's madness. What's his numbers? I gotta test this. How much I can fucking lift with a wide grip or a short grip? I bet it's fucking a lot. I bet I can lift a lot. I mean, I could probably, I haven't maxed out, but I can definitely deadlift 300 some odd. Like when I practice it, I'm getting back up to it. And like I can do a pull up and I'm heavy as fuck. So like, I wonder how much I could in a bad torque lifting at the end. I want to know now. I've got to get one of these. So does it say? Can you guys see? Crane scale. Cap 300 kg. Okay, so it's probably in kilograms. So he's managing like what, 200 pounds of fulcrumed force off of that?
Over 100.
So what was the initial force? 50.
A little over.
Now remember, this is in kilos, so put that into pounds.
Well, what that means is this wasn't a 50% increase in leverage force. That was a 100% increase in leverage force. Now,
35
you
kilo deadlift is still pretty light. I know it's not like necessarily a deadlift.
Does
I don't
having
know.
a greater leverage strength on a weapon have a significant impact
No.
with how you would be able to use it?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. What about you, Nate? Do you think so?
I'm going to stop there. Absolutely.
Massively.
So, massively, especially when you get to a lot of cross-pollination with weapons, you start doing like spear versus single-handed sword, it can get difficult.
That's what you get for being 6'4".
So
The deadlift
type
has
of
so
weapon
far
that
to
they
go.
use,
It takes
I
a long
agree,
time to
Daniel,
get to the top.
is very important.
It's
and
a
if they're using the
horribly
wrong weapon
long
in the
amount of
test,
time.
David, if they're using the wrong weapon in the test, that can completely invalidate the test. Now, this is one of the issues about when...
Bro,
you put
okay,
yourself
so like
up-
this isn't a real test. That was just a measurement. Can I say this? I know this is me getting pedantic again, but like I feel like righties have to be instructed on this all the time. That is not a test. That is a measurement. A test has like, you have to like control for certain things, and I don't even know what you're really testing. Is it just your actual strength, the overall, like, different amount of people can do different things? What are you really trying to prove? Did you just reprove the concept of a fulcrum? Is that what we got to? Did we just rediscover leverage? Because you just tested leverage. You could have just said, because it's physics. You don't need to provide a number for it. It's physics. It's fulcrums and leverage. Everyone just knows. So there's these things called simple machines. One of them is the lever. I mean, you can get more leverage, but does it do anything for you? It depends. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I always say, think of things in terms of solutions, problems and solutions. So getting more leverage will allow you to put more force down, but that force will not, I can't remember, there's a physics terms for this, but basically when you're off, right? It's the horsepower torque thing, basically. So your torque, you've got a bunch of fucking torque, right? But your torque can't build up a lot of momentum. The torque kind of is the top of the amount of force that it can provide. Whereas when you spin off of a small thing into a wide arc, you get more. There's a reason that bunting in baseball, if we think about it like this, you have a lot of torque. Why? Because the torque allows you to control the weight of the end of the bat to put it directly in the ball's path. Bunk, and you can bunt. But if you try to bunt as hard as you can, if you make it to second base, that's fucking great for you. However, a 65 mile an hour standard pitch ball being hit with your hands right next to each other, where you can use the twisting motion of your hips and your hands together to, instead of transferring torque into the end of it, just getting as much rotational effort off of that as possible, the amount of overall force distributed into the end of the bat is way fucking higher. High enough to hit a 65 mile an hour ball, reflect that energy, and then add sufficient amount of energy to accelerate it out of a fucking stadium. All right? That's the physics. I cannot fucking remember the specific force equations in my head off of rip, but when you make that much torque, you defeat the purpose of having a slashing weapon at all, basically. Because you know how you don't use a knife, a kitchen knife, like holding it with both hands, you do it with one, right? So that you can get a lot of energy out of it and go fast. Snap. When you go slow, you can make more precise movements and control it and apply more continuous energy, but you can't build up the energy to fucking whip it, which is what you want when you have a slashing weapon, or just anything that gets its effect by accelerating it to the highest point. If you have a lot of leverage and you're using a pointed weapon, that's fucking great, because the point of that isn't to put as much force into it. It's going to have almost the maximum amount of force, kind of no matter how hard you push it, because all of the force will be put into a tiny little tip, right? So 100 pounds going like this way will be multiplied by the smallness of that when it comes to the like initial attack. So when you have all of that torque and that wiggle, you can aim better for specific spots. You can try to get somebody in the neck or the face, whereas when you're trying to like whip a sword at them, you know, you've got to fucking get all that energy and try to like hit it. It's going to be much more difficult to get an extremely accurate thing. Or do stuff like fucking knock shit aside, you know what I mean? This isn't me being like good at swords, by the way. This is me just understanding how leverage works. It's a physics concept. It has nothing. It's true without swords. Okay? You know how you have a hammer and you nail nails in with it? Do you hold it by the tines as well and then bang it down? No, because you can't transfer the force. You let your wrist whip it down. I can keep going on, but it's not swords. It's basic physics. It's all tools. It's all tools. There's no magic to it. It's just a tool that does a thing. And like if you're trying to maximize the amount of energy that's in the tip of it, you want all of the energy going into this area so that you whoop, and whip it. Torque is radius force, but I think the equation you're looking for is tangential velocity. Oh yeah, that's a little bit more difficult. I feel like these are hyper basic concepts. It's just a strange point for them to be
on
making.
a pedestal as an authority, a true swordsman.
Now, other people have done videos on this, but we're going to come at this from the viewpoint of.
I believe this is a weapon for mounted combat to basically clumsily swim through bodies like a kayak when you get bogged down in a scrum. I feel, wouldn't it just be more dangerous anyway because it's got two sides? Are there any two-sided cavalry weapons? That seems, a two-sided cavalry weapon seems like the worst idea, right? Because the cavalry's behind you, your people are running with you. And when you run with a spear or a javelin, you go, what? You stab the guy. If you let it go, it poke him, he fall down. It has blunt end that maybe can like hit a horse and hurt it, but it's not. But if you have a gigantic sword that has a sword on the back and you stab a guy and then you keep going and let it go, then like that guy's chest is now an anti-horse weapon, right? And like, wouldn't you just want a longer sword on one side anyway? Like, you've got a fucking blade against your stomach. If you try to get it down, like horses are tall. Like they're big. Like I'm 6'4". Horses are almost always bigger than me. And that's racing horses in Kentucky. They're the smallest horses. Like a war horse is like, it could carry a guy with armor on it. It could carry a me and run. Like you want something really, your arm and then some, right? There's a reason cavalry sabers aren't two-sided, I believe.
Fencer, people who actually do this and fight with these things. The other issue is that there are very few people who are popular swordsmanship creators who do a lot of fencing.
Closest to a two-sided cavalry weapon is something with sharp counterweight. That makes
swordsmanship
sense.
Don't actually fence. It's just kind of stupid to be misinformed. I get a lot of comments in my comment section saying so-and-so did an experiment and it proves XYZ, and when I look at the experiment, I can see all the problems with it and how it wasn't set up in such a way to...
Okay, let's just get into this.
Says you're fighting with like a sword, he tries to defend, so he even acknowledges that he wasn't fighting with this like a polearm. And one of the problems that he was trying to propose predominantly exists because of the way he was fighting with it, not because it...
But like, here's the thing. The first problem with even just saying that is that the guy you're talking to probably just naturally tried to put it into play in the best way possible. Like, you handed a guy that likes weapons a weapon. He tried to like, okay, well, what's the best way to even get this thing to do something? And I'm just going to tell you right now, strapping the fucking L-bar to it was probably not what he thought of the first time.
It's an inherent limitation. Most of the criticism...
Because also, they probably would have fucking bang around with that thing. I don't know how much effort you can put in. I don't know what the sheer strength of the duct tape you wrapped around this handle is, but the other guy probably felt like it was a little too dangerous to try to extend it with a broom handle and some electrical tape.
He mentions about not being able to transition this sword, a double-bladed sword, from one side to another was because he was holding it like a sword. And he was trying to say, to go from here to now this side, you have to raise it up and transition like this.
You do, though.
This is versatile. I can guard anywhere. I can get across my body. I can attack from any angle. I can put the sword in front of my body and elongate it. And I can't do any of those things with a double-bladed sword. With a double-bladed sword, I am restricted to guarding one side of myself or switching all the way around my leg to guard the other side of myself.
The odd thing is, and this might actually come from the fact that perhaps he doesn't have a lot of experience with using polearms. This is where, yes, having experience with the weapon that you're wanting to analyze is important. I agree with you here, David. Right. Also, just remember, sometimes we're testing weapons that don't even exist, all right? And so you've got to go off what you can with the experience you have. But with a double-bladed sword, having experience with polearms, spears, halberds, and stuff, absolutely is very important, because most of the limitations he's trying to say invalidates the weapon. These are the same limitations that exist with polearms, halberds. Can you transition without...
The best part is when he switches to this other weapon that's basically almost the same length, he's holding it way further down and getting... It just looks... When you hold a real halberd, it just looks like such a much better weapon. I'm not even addressing the fact that he didn't address a single fucking thing that the other guy said. But, you know.
Going like that? No, you can't. Did that make weapons like this invalid, useless, that no one used them historically? No. The answer is you fight with them differently. You don't try and perform the same maneuvers you can with a sword, okay? And so one of the things that you can do when you want to transition is you raise it, and you can go like this, and you have it in defensive points where...
Look at these feet.
And
remember what I was
when
saying?
you have a different grip, your range of motion is a completely different beast. And so from this...
Do you guys remember just watching Sellsword spin? Did you remember how much his fucking like hips and like legs adapted to the weight as it crossed his body and he looked like he could move? My man is holding on for dear life with
from
this.
Side to side, okay? Very, very easy. But it seems like he can't understand this basic principle. In actual fact, he purposely goes out of his way to...
If you put the half... Do you see... I know I'm not the biggest guy, but like... I can't... This is a guitar, right? This is a guitar. This is how long my arm is relative to a standard guitar. Okay? Like, I have a serious... If you put the fucking back end of that anywhere where I can get it and it's not whipping past me, I'm taking it from you. I'm fucking snatching that shit the fuck out of your hand. If I'm built like a fucking 16th century dirt scraping peasant, I got one thick fucking monkey knuckles, I'm ripping that out of your... the cutting part on the back of that is going right through your fucking medulla oblongata. I'm gonna fucking rip that right out of your fucking hand. What are you even talking about? Why are you demonstrating techniques that would literally why don't you take this from me? What the fuck? Oh, I'd like to see him try. Like, you would be stunned. Also, when you hold it in two, the torque, you also can't move it away as fast because it's two hands. It's 2 points of contact. Where if it's a sword, flip, there, it's gone. When you do this with a sword, it's in a different fucking time zone all of a sudden.
Struck scenarios in which...
Tyler, what if you shift the second guitar to the other side of it? Tremendous.
Do those types of attacks. Let me show you. So one of the demonstrations that they share, which is trying to show the limitations of a double-bladed sword, as we showed, this type of limitation would exist.
Look at these fucking feet. This is the best part.
Out maneuvers that would work less effectively with a double-bladed sword. I don't think giving it an honest try, but that's stacking the deck for it to fail. Okay? He came in with a bias, saying that he doesn't think it's an effective weapon.
Oh, I have to admit, I have a love-hate relationship with this sword. I love to hate it.
Can you hold your sword where you're not fucking flagging the other person? I don't know if that's a thing with swords as it is with guns, but could you hold your homemade weapon in a way where I'm not going to get accidentally poked in my fucking balls if you fucking like shift your shoulders a bit?
I really love to hate it, but yes, there were things that...
Like, just this while they're trying to talk about it, and he's holding a normal sword, and it's so safe. It's just down by his side. The point is at the ground. It's not if anybody walked into it, at worst, they would scrape their shin. My man's walking around with this at dick height, at dick and femoral artery height. It's pointed just at the worst part of a person, just to get stabbed next to, like, I don't know, the literal throat. Like, that it's just, this is the direction of a full kill wound. This whole area right here. And it's just how you're walking around. If this guy stumbles and falls, right? This just goes into the dirt. If it's a spear, it like falls forever. And more than likely, like you can kind of like, you know, it's a spear. You kind of catch yourself. If you fall with this, it's going to fucking like all the way to the dirt because it's 3 feet of steel and full point on it. Like, just literally from a basic military perspective, thinking about, there's a reason there's not thousands of these in graves of great warriors across the world. It's because anyone that fucking did this dumb shit in the past died a fucking moron's death in a mud pit with a guy with a fucking club standing over him. Like, what were you doing?
Were missed or that had particular biases that they may not have realised.
The biggest one was when they were trying to show an overhead cut that gets blocked. And so, like this.
If he's there, all I have to do is find this. And now
Look at these guys. Do you see this dude just approaching this? Even though they're like demonstrating, really good foot movement, even in a basic thing.
Underneath this sword, and this is the same problem with reverse grip. Any situation, he's screwed.
So when his opponent was holding it like this, okay?
Now watch
this position, he literally says, well, they both say, the sword is completely locked away and you can't do anything.
It does seem at first, like it seems like I have so much advantage, but...
From this position, I don't know what it's talking about, because you know what you can do.
Oh, yeah, I'm scared of that.
You have the back sword.
The deep, exhausted breaths. But just look at this. Like, when you're trying to demonstrate, like, what you could do, and you're just talking it through, but, like, look at the stance that you've got going on. We're not really engaged. We're just trying to demonstrate. But what are you really demonstrating? You know? Like, literally, if you want to go out of swords, watch any martial arts thing. You'll see an 80-year-old guy teaching, like, Muay Thai. And he'll be like, okay, so when you do, like, and then he'll get into the stance and start fucking bouncing. Like, he'll be ready to do it because he's trying to show you how to do it right. Like, if I was like, this is how you use a hammer, and I was holding it like fucking sideways, and like you kind of just fucking slap the ground with it, like, oh yeah, but what if it's on the saw? What if it's on the? Oh yeah, we just can't fucking, you know. Bad. Everything about it is bad. This guy's leaning back because he probably literally just does not trust fucking Shad to not cack him in the fucking neck with this thing.
And I'm saying it might expose your head, not if you're quick and you raise it high.
Look at these big fucking rotations.
You have to back off to get out of that. Like when they're holding this position in the video, and they're, one, bad grip, wrong.
I'll tell you what the problem with this here is in a second.
When they say there's nothing that can be done in that position.
Now any situation where I can get underneath this sword, and this is the same problem with reverse grip. Any situation, he's screwed.
I'm thinking, hang on, am I being punked? Or something like it felt like being gaslit because from this position you have the back sword. It's perfect for the counter.
No. This is how you know he's bad. Look at his feet. Watch his feet. He crosses back.
It felt like being gaslit because from this position you have the back sword. It's perfect for the counter.
So the whole time this guy's got his sword down on you, he says you're gonna fucking step back from a downward hold. So I've got my pressure down here. I'm like, right? I'm going to swing back. He's got to fucking completely open himself up. And you're crossing your legs. The second you do that, I'm going to step to the left. And then I'm going to, with the weight of a normal amount of leverage on a sword, I could probably knock you off balance. This is what I'm talking about. This is an insane lack of knowledge. Like, he should have never posted this because it's fucking crazy. Think of all of the times. We're going to watch some more of this. I can't remember exactly how much, but just see how many times you can trip him.
They say,
look at where his legs are. He's got no mobility. He's fighting a guy who's just literally a bicycle stand to practice fucking swinging on. What if the guy just comes and does a fucking standard thrust at you? That's the point. When this is on one side of your body, all I've got to do is dance. I just dance around you. Ka-plap, ka-plap, ka-plap. You know what I mean? It's like you're doing like a Philly shell against metal. You're like this. You know, you're fucking gummed up on one side. If I cross around you a bunch and a bunch and a bunch, and you don't know how to adapt to it with your feet at all, Like, you're just setting yourself up to get obliterated. You have to know how to pull it back. Like, the fights that you're talking about, you don't just stand there with your drunk uncle in the backyard like, okay, now what I would do from here is the next thing. Like, the dude with the sword is 100% right. The Sellsword guy's crazy right. Did you see how fast he moved when he approached? And the other thing, just a little with 2 feet, that he just gained a whole 1.5-ish, maybe 2 feet of distance just to demonstrate something. When he attacks you, if he's got like, it's gonna pop, 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 pop. That's it. Like, if you've never seen how fast a punch comes from an untrained person, the human body wants to punch. It wants to throw. It wants to punch. It's designed to do it. It's like our one thing that we can do really good physically. It comes unfathomably fast. You put fucking an additional 3 feet of anything on it, and that's going to be even quicker. It's whap, 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 whap. You don't get to react to it over 20, 30 seconds. And also, you've got 2 hands out in front of you. You better have fucking full mitts, because all I've got to do is freak you out, and I can fucking just start scraping your fingers off the side of this thing. Like, I'm thinking my way through it like a dude with just a glaive, like a big heavy bit of metal that's like long on the end of a stick is just gonna take you down like a fucking, like he's harvesting a fucking banana tree. Unironically, have you guys ever seen how they cut down banana trees with those big fucking bill hook looking things? Just one of those guys with one of those would fucking like run through you, like casually, because you've got to flip around. I know where you can't even feint. You can't do a basic feint because I know where your hands are gonna be the whole time. All I've got to do is walk around you. Oh, I'm gonna shift. Okay. You're also fucking, you're fully gassed. I mean, maybe there's somebody that can do this. That's a fair argument. I haven't seen it in combat. I mean, neither has the Earth or all of historians. But like, you're not the guy to be putting it in, because where's the movement here? What is going on
actually
here? Look
expose
at this.
your hands. What if you locked up the crossguard?
And then come in. And so I was going to say, like, I can step back.
Fuck all the stuff you're doing with the sword. I'm gonna kick you. I've got you. You've got your legs together. Your knees are bent and your fucking heels are almost touching. I'm gonna fucking kick your legs out. I'm not a genius. This is basic. It's the 3rd move you learn in the worst part of the Marine Corps martial arts program. That is dog shit, is a leg sweep. Like, oh, the guy's got his legs together? Just kick him in the fucking ankle. Bye. It doesn't matter who it is, because it's physics. It's leverage again. You're just fucking, you've got all of your weight right here. Boom. And like front loaded, like heavily front loaded side to side together. You're moving your body opposite online. Like, you're off of the blade. You know what I mean? And without like a good 45 degree, you're not on the balls of your toes. I can probably fucking kick the guy's legs out from underneath of him if he does this shit.
But if you thrust in at the same time, I'm kind of caught and have to back right off.
Big overstep.
I hate to love it.
Overloaded leg.
So that example was just baffling to me, because they're standing at like, there's such an obvious recoil. Not only that, there are so many things that you can do from that position because you have a second blade. And again, he has put a lot of emphasis, validity on his swordsmanship experience. How could he then
dropped a meme in
this
stream
obvious counter? Perhaps the way you train isn't the be-all and end-all in swordsmanship. And we shouldn't put out...
No, it is. It is. It just is. What? Where is that true ever? I guess the way you train isn't the be-all and end-all in swordsmanship. I think I would. What is the evidence against that for any discipline? He is literally in this entire video just arguing on behalf of charlatanry. He's just a charlatan, like a good old school word. He's just a fucking charlatan, arguing for the right to be a fucking charlatan. He demonstrated nothing. He can't even demonstrate that he can move forward and backward. I want to see him do, like, literally just do a stutter step approach and back, forward and back, standard. Plop, 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 plop. Basic thing. You can see 8-year-olds in boxing gyms across the world doing it. It's not boxing. It's moving a body. It's just moving. It's just moving your body. There's no better way to do it. You ever see the javelin throwers? People that throw javelins don't even do like necessarily a hard run. They go pa-ping, 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 foop, and then they throw it. Because it's the best way to charge up and then fucking unleash everything. Because I can't even get into it. It's just, if you want to accelerate one side of your body to the other, you just have to have the stance right. And that's how you do it. If you want to run, you cross your legs. Run for it. It's a directional thing. You go really fast, very fast, straight. When you want to start running around people, you split your legs apart. Watch a running back try to cross around somebody. Any of the people in soccer, you'll see them. If they're running fast, straight, boom, boom, boom. But once they stop and they get up on somebody, box, bladed legs, dancing around. And then they'll move left and right like this. Pa-chop, 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 pa-chop. Everyone does it. Why? Because it's just the best way to move. If you can't even move your feet, why should I believe anything that happens above your ankles? What good is it? You know what I mean? Like, what value does it have? What could you possibly know about how to bring that sword from one position to another if the very basics of existing on the earth as any person with an athletic bone in their body escape you entirely? Boy, okay. Is there any more into this? I can't
ourselves
remember.
up on pedestals. We can all get things wrong. I've gotten things wrong as well.
Oh, yeah.
We come in with biases and we get corrected.
What is the thing he's ever admitted that he got
One of the
wrong?
greatest mistakes you ever made was talking about single-edged swords. You had Elmsley himself.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, he wrote the
Elmsley
typology. Yeah, he actually wrote the book on the types of single-handed swords. Come to you and correct you. So
was wrong.
getting things wrong, and I know, David, you've gotten a few things wrong before and you've been corrected and you make correction videos. It's great. I don't know. I kind of hate this. And it does definitely have some valid points.
There's a couple
Hurt feelings.
other assertions he makes. He tries to say that a practiced swordsman will easily be able to defend against a double-bladed sword because they can track the sword. That's essentially what he's saying. That so when you come in with an attack in one way, right, and you block, that because where one blade moves, the other one automatically moves as well. You can always know where it's going to come in an attack from, and it's easy to defend. Or a competent swordsman could defend it easily. And the reason why we were able to land hits on the counter end of the blade was essentially because we were just not good enough to be able to defend or track the other blade as easily.
I believe that 100%. I don't know why you look that confident, bud.
Did he say that?
Well,
you are fired if you don't agree for me. The awkwardness of this
defend or
interview.
track the other blade as easily.
Did he say that?
Well, I'll give the clip.
With this, it's very easy to tell if his sword comes this way, the other sword must go that way. I know, like if he attacks there and he tries to attack somewhere else, I know where it's coming from because they're tied together, right? I can see this working really well against a very inexperienced fencer because they're not going to be able to understand that it's tied together.
Yeah. And you know why? Do you know why he's always going to know where it comes from? Because the only way to get it forward, unless you let go of it completely and then stab yourself with it, is to rotate your body. It's not a stunning revelation. Your entire body has to rotate. I've been seeing it happen the entire time. You've got to rotate your whole foot forward or back. It's just, you have to, it's called telegraphing.
In the video. Okay.
So, I actually want to test this with intent and speed. We have
Okay, yeah, dude, no, we actually do get to watch a fight. I knew there was dessert. I knew there was dessert.
Such significant results that would prove, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is what he means when he says, they were using LARP swords in their tests.
I don't know why people say scientific results so much. It's just let it go. Are you doing real science? No, you know you're not. We know you're not. The thing's broken. It's fucking bent in half. Oh God, the thickness of it all.
Back blade, right? So they said from a strike that comes in like this, you can always predict where the back end is going to go. And so if I went,
yeah, because I was trying to predict
exactly.
Would you be sitting in the bind like that, and the guy is standing waiting for whatever, and then you go, oh. This is every drunk guy at the family reunion who's like, let me show you a martial arts move. It's Jack White as Elvis in fucking Dewey Cox, you know? I'm going, watch out, man. You don't think I'm what? I kiss you. It's the same fucking thing. Do you think, because just that implies, by the way, why that's stupid, that implies that the other person is going to have to not also be sword fighting. Like, the potential for you to do a feint does not create a negative space for the other person to not also do a feint. This is an aphorism, as we learned last night. There is nothing to learn from that. And you remember the other guys, we're going to start sparring. And they just start fucking scrapping. This one, Shad is the annoying NPC that teaches you combat in a video game. Yeah, and then like dies in the tutorial, and they're like, actually, that combat system doesn't exist.
So if you go into a bias thinking that every single attack is going to be the back end, you set yourself up for fail.
There's real seriousness happening.
That would have been a solid headshot right then. But then, even if I want to do it,
I know everyone says that he's the most British coded person of all time. Or the most British coded Australian of all time, but that one exchange was the most British thing I've ever heard him say. That just sounds like a line from a Monty
if I was
Python
committed,
thing.
that would have been a solid headshot right there.
That would have been a solid headshot right there. Now, if we continue on, just like John
But then,
Cleese,
even if I want to do it,
I can assure everyone here that was a perfectly good sword strike.
okay, ready?
Yeah, I got sliced there.
Alright. Ready?
Yeah, I got sliced there.
Alright. This time, Nate, I'm going to let you know that's
What? Bro, you did not need to slow that down.
the angle. So you know beforehand, I'm coming in for your gut.
Okay.
Hey, shout out for getting the sound crew from The Sopranos for this sword fight. Can we take a break, Shady? I want to have a fucking sticky tonight.
We are always starting from that bind, though.
Alright, ready?
Yep.
Again?
Yep.
Look, how are you gonna look at how his fucking feet are? Look at this dude. Just exists to get fucking hit by Shad when Shad wants to prove a point. Why do you? First off, I've got to start in this one specific like thing. I guess that they're trying to describe that whatever it's going to be there, but why is this the bind? Why specifically is this the bind that we're choosing? You know what I mean? And also, like, why is this guy? Look how overextended he is. Just this dude has there's no potential for mobility in these feet. He's also not doing great. This is big wide stance. My man's 10 seconds from fucking having to put his hands on his knees.
I know.
Alright, ready?
Yep.
But like, where are you gonna go? You can't go anywhere. And also, he doesn't know how to move, so he just backloads this left leg. You're gonna fucking explode your ACL if you keep doing this shit. His front leg is on the heel and fully extended. He's just never moved. Like, he's just never moved in his life, is all I can get from this. That's just not good footwork.
Again?
Yep.
So,
I'm catching it here. Because to move that blade down. Maybe.
Or your
Yeah,
gut.
why are we starting with that high block? They were trying to make a point that I think they were in bind. They're forcing him to do this high block. They've already said that this is different shaped and would attack different than the smaller one, but we're going to go with it like we're using it like the smaller one because it's science. And so he's hyper overextended. His arms are at the fucking longest length they can be. And I'm going to assume that it's not a real bind. Like, Shad's just resting his sword on it. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're caught up trying to actually like vie for space and work against each other or anything and like moving. Like, does everyone, you know what the bind thing does, right? Like, you're stuck together because you can't quite move away and you're trying to both get like the right foot or like hip or shoulder leverage or movement in order to fucking get that last little bit in. This isn't like genius shit. That's just painfully fucking obvious. So he's in a great position, and then this poor fucking bastard who's about to fucking literally have a coronary because this is a lot for him. With all due respect, this is a lot. This is a big day. I'm gonna fucking kick back when I get out. Fucking right. all the way fucking extended. He's gotta retract his entire body and then move it down. First off, like, just don't even be in that position. You're just already gonna get hit. If you were in that bind with some other dude's sword, like, wouldn't you also just still be getting hit if you were that overextended? Like, you're just in a bad position.
So even when you know which direction is coming in,
Shad fights like he's in a turn-based RPG. I was thinking the same thing when I saw this earlier.
Because I feel like starting from a static bind.
true, but this was what they were doing.
Even he's like, I think this is bullshit. He blocked it.
Yep.
Missed it a little bit. And also, here's the most important part about this. Here's the most important part about this. This is his employee, I'm going to just assume. And Shad gets to take the initiative off of the attack, which is not how that works. They should both be trying to attack each other. The point isn't that Shad is like, you're not fast, you can't be fast enough to block it. The point is, if you don't have to worry about getting hit by the other guy at all, yeah, you can throw a fucking rocket at him. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, well, we've got each other in a clinch. Now, some people think that you can't throw a punch in the clinch, but as you see, as I'm holding him, I can punch the fuck out of him. I can just keep hitting him, and he can't really do much to me, which is why it's strange that people don't throw more punches when they're in the clinch like this. Like, are you fucking crazy? He can't fight back. What is this demonstrating? That you can swing the sword fast? Just set up a fucking bat speedometer and just fucking whiff it, bro. Sir, this is yet again the most peasant-coded shit. Stand over there, peasant. The Lord wishes to show the speed of his sword. You should fight some actual HEMA practitioners and not just noobs all the time. I am a noob. I said this at the beginning. I know there's a bunch more of you here. We cracked 400, by the way. Thanks, everyone who stopped out tonight. I know it was juice night. We got fucking Shad here. But I will say this, I said it before and I'll say it now. I will fly to Australia. I do not know shit about sword fighting. I am a rank amateur. I have never been in a real sword fight. I used to fuck around with like wooden sticks in my backyard, like all true fucking red-blooded males, and hurt my fingers a few times and then stopped. I've never fought with a real sword. I don't know how to hold it correctly. I would let him pick the sword. I will fly myself out, and I will bet $1,000 fucking dollars I can beat him in a sword fight. $1,000. 1,000 off rip. I said it at the beginning. I'm saying it now. I have no faith in this dude's ability to fucking win a sword fight. I just literally don't think he could win any fight. I don't think he has enough athleticism in him to stay standing with me and even try to catch me for like more than a minute. Because I would just jog around him for like 10 seconds. This is my strategy. I would just move out of the way a few times, and then when he was gassed, I would just kick him to the ground and start hitting him until whatever victory condition occurred that you need to achieve to win HEMA. I would just barbarian because based barbarian. $1,000 I would win. I said further $1,000. I would extrapolate out. I think I could probably take in a row, one after another, every one of him and all three of his serfs. I earnestly believe this. This is not me. This is not me like bragging and being like, trying to like, I'm just being masculine. Like, I exercise. I like to do like little boxing workouts. I could not fight a real athlete at all, like an actual like athletic martial artist. Like, of course I would fucking lose, but I think I could take all four of them in a row. I earnestly believe that. I would fly myself out to Australia. If they want to take me up, I put $1,000 American down on it, which apparently is $1,500 dues. I would do it. I would fucking do it. I would 100% do it. I would be so fucking stoked. I would let them pick the weapons. I would let them pick the field. I would let them pick the armor. I say I don't even have anything. If I needed to make some shit, I would just fucking like get some welder to make me some shit out of a stainless steel trash can, because it's the same shit as far as I'm concerned, and make some little plates for what I don't know, whatever the fuck. And then I would just overwhelming force. I think I could do all four of them. I don't want to say I could beat all four at the same time. That's asking a lot. of me, I know people that are like I was in the military with would have no problems with that. It would actually be, it would, you know, it's like, would 4 like midgets be able to beat a lion in a fight? Like, no, man. I think I could do it. Shaddy struck the very first blow and hurt Lord Tyler sore, but Tyler struck the very next blow and Shaddy struck no more. Go full Beowulf. That's like, you can wear whatever you want. I'm gonna be showing up in blue woad paint, ass naked, dick out, fucking high on mushrooms. I think I could still win. Bring your sharpest sword, boy. Fucking just like just me with a fucking stone axe sprinting across the leaves at him. Oh my god. Get it out there, man. Hand to God. Plot twist, you get Shad's double sword. You know why that would be fucking cool? Because the fight would start and I would snap it in half and then start beating him up with 2 swords, one of which still has a chunk of duct tape and fucking metal on it. Everything that he's trying to achieve with this, by the way, if you just had a second sword in your other hand, is still like that would just be more valuable. Like a second, 2 blades are better than 1, and it's like, yeah, and if they're in 2 different hands, they're even better because I can poke you with both of them at the same time. Fucking sick. Tyler plus K-Bar versus Shad with double sword and 4 peasants. Is it a real K-Bar? These guys don't have, there's no protection on the back of their neck. I could get that. I could get that. Just jog around a little bit. You'd have that moment where you feel like really good. You guys remember that episode of Game of Thrones where the guy in the armor gasses himself and then he kicks him down that big fucking hole? $1,000, tell him. $1,000, easy. Tyler returns to Monk. All in Melbourne.
Yeah.
He's already look. Oh my god. Did you see that? Look, he got fucking serious. Stop fucking with me. Did you see the fucking sword get absolutely bent in half by the ground? Why did he post this? Why did he have the courage to think that this was a good look?
Yeah.
They're starting to get fucking pissed at each other. Block, bind. Look, stuck in the ground. No leg movement.
You can't really do winding and binding. But in that exchange, I wound into your guard and got you in the shoulder.
I'm gonna guess that these are like some sort of practice swords. Or do real swords, like, I know like rapiers bend, but that seemed like it bent a lot. That shit, that went like full, like 90 degrees, right?
So they said
the gassing, the on the shoulder, just fully gassed, legs spread, is amazing. Do you remember when we just watched Sellsword and that other guy go at it and they looked fucking awesome and it was incredible looking and you could probably learn a lot from him? I remember starting like, this guy's footwork is great. Do you remember how much they moved in that video? They were bouncing around and they fought. The whole video is a single cut. They fought for 30 straight minutes. I think they did probably like 10 or 15 full exchanges and then talked to each other about like, oh, you did this, you did that. It's really difficult to do this with a long sword. Contrary to public belief, rapiers are actually not supposed to bend as much as other swords. Thrusting swords be like that, which makes sense. I guess they have to bend in like professional competitions so that they don't actually work as intended. Shad has almost fallen over like 3 times. If he used his feet as all, he wouldn't have that problem. He can't because he is not in shape. It's really hard to bounce. Like, it's jumping jacks. Every time you do one of those jumping jacks, you know what? That's what jumping, when you move your feet, that's what that actually gets you ready for. That's why jumping jacks are really good. They teach you how to move from toe to toe to toe to toe to toe. That's why bounce. That's why you always see boxers doing jumping jacks, because a jumping jack, that little motion and knowing how much time it takes to get your toes back to the ground so you can jump again, is the fundamental brain-body connection for knowing how to move your feet correctly. Because even I've been practicing and stuff, and I get gassed after like 5 or 6 like little sets, and my feet will drag on the ground, and I'll trip myself up, and I'm like, fuck, man, getting pissed off. And that's just really irritating back and forth movement. He hasn't moved his legs because he's fucking tired as shit. Can you hear these guys breathing? They barely fucking did anything. And they're doing that like I don't do athletics, so like they're rasping because they're trying not to sound out of breath because they're embarrassed about it because they don't often get out of breath because they don't work out.
I mean, I think people try and say that
I think some people mistake rapiers and foils. Oh yeah, foils is actually what you're supposed to call it, right? Yeah, a fencing foil. Foil is the proper term for the fencing thing, but like.
Was with the
My
flat.
bad.
But
It was.
I am incorrect.
So seeing that hit with the flat, I
But
was
you guys
trying
know
to
what I mean.
filleted down the arm.
And the other
Sorry,
thing
you
is-
probably didn't hear that. I probably would have tried to have filleted down the arm.
The other thing is, we acknowledge that you would need more practice with this to get
Oh,
better.
yes.
And if someone practices enough, of course they're going to be better with edge alignment. And so I'm willing to count even the flat hits with the understanding that a more competent person with this weapon would have had better edge alignment because it still landed.
Well,
The
it's not
hit
only that.
landed.
This, for all intents and
Biggest,
purposes,
wettest boy right
is
there.
a reverse grip hit. So if I'm aiming at your head, as an example, and you block and it goes low, of course it's going to hit flat.
Yeah.
But I just try to
down.
scoop out a chunk of arm, basically.
Now, of course, you can defend on the reverse or back sword hits, but to say it's 100% you can always predict, no.
It's hard to fight, but it is worse to use because of that carrying it around the battlefield, and it's just.
Well, that was the thing that we said. Like, it's an awkward.
Oh, hold on. Now, it's a good weapon. I figured it out. Olympic fencers will wipe the floor with HEMA guys. Usually, they are so fucking good with tempo and distance. Oh, yes, this was a thing I was watching before. I was watching some dudes who took themselves pretty seriously with HEMA. Not as good as even as Sellsword and stuff. But if you watch, we'll watch some Olympic fencers, and you guys might have like some people who are dorks might have a feeling like, well, that's not the heaviest sword. These guys probably fucking like deadlift or like squat like 400 pounds. I'll show you Olympic fencers. I'll show you because you guys have to see
But
it.
in an actual usage,
I want to watch one more exchange. Hold on. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
seems
fucking
to have
the music.
is correct. That steel would give significantly different results to the point to prove that this is an ineffective weapon.
Okay.
All right. And, of course, I'm not going to be fighting with it like a sword. Okay? This isn't a sword, it's a polearm.
It's 2 swords attached with a piece of L-bar. Why are you doing?
already-
Look at this.
Yeah. I've got to grab the tip of the blade, which I'm not comfortable with.
Ready?
Yep.
You know why? Because you're getting fucked up with because he's using a high torque, like we're saying, like high accurate, but he can't move it fast. Go this way. If someone has a weapon, I'll just tell you, if someone's trying to do something to you in a line, and it's hard for them to move left or right off of that line to still do it, move left or right off the line. It's called a sidestep. It's called sidestepping. Rotate around your opponent. If your guy has a whole piece of metal to the side of his head on one side, I'll tell you this. It's going to be real hard for him to get the whole big piece of metal to the other side of his head. Go that direction. I'm no expert. But what I would try to do is walk in the direction of the part that doesn't have a sharp piece. He's like, do you see how charged up his legs are? He's not going anywhere. Just do this. Why are you... Look at that fucking stutter step. Just
And you
move.
can't thrust with this.
Bro, you get... I can't watch you stab that sweaty pig anymore. Okay. It's... I stand by what I said. Fucking legs, man. All right. Look, when I talk about footwork, these guys are using foils, and they're very lightweight, and of course, they're going to change the way that the combat is done in order to, like, succeed at their sport. But you can put any piece of metal in their hands, and they will still be moving this fast and accurate once they adapt to the slight change in weight. That's a slow-mo hit. Pank. Gotcha. Oh, it's not fucking cool though, is it? Alright, we gotta... Fuck. Oh shit, I probably just fucking blew my whole video up. Hush. Look how much they fight. Look at their stances. It's all about getting in there and hitting a literal death strike as fast as you can. If these guys are given full, like, if you give this guy something that's as hard as, true hardened steel, he's probably gonna punch through the fucking armor that Shad has. These dudes are moving really fast. I cannot express really unless you see it up close. If you've ever seen anybody do fencing, I've seen amateurs do it. These are Olympic professionals. Look how quick they are. They're making the decisions you can't see. It's like Dragon Ball Z. Pank. Cat. The body control, the knowledge of the other person, the amount of movement that they do just to close is crazy because they have to have that much distance between them just to even probably give the refs enough time to see where the strike might be going. I've got a two-sided sword I strapped together with duct tape. This fucking little Korean dude will stab you 15 fucking times and leave. He'll be out having his afternoon tea while you're still trying to figure out how dead you are. These fucking guys are insane. Poink, poink. Miss, tap, miss. It's crazy. And this is what real duels were like back in the day. Just so you guys know, this is a little bit different because obviously the rules and shit have changed. But real duels are not 15 touches. 16, 25, 35 touches, clink, 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 banging around and stuff. A duel between two people are we're stabbing each other. No armor, right? Yeah, no armor. It's set up, figure the guy out, cha-cha-cha, one stab, and then that's it. Bye, you're done. Maybe a touch in the back. But that's a duel. That's what these guys are talking about. Can you, if you are a Shad fan and you're watching through this, you have to answer this of how do you reconcile this is real sword fighting. This is what it looks like. These people are paid sword fighters. I can't express to you in words enough. All of your favorite people that you watch on the internet would get turned into Swiss cheese by these dudes. If you gave them a different sword, it really would not fucking change things. They're bullets that stab shit, and they're human and alive. They can't go side to side because you won't be able to keep track of where all these fucking things are happening. But it's awesome, right? Look how fucking hard they go. This is women's, by the way. Bind. Wrists. These bitches are fucking each other up right now. And there's all sorts of rules and stuff that go into it, basically to keep people from hurting each other or getting so mad at each other. But do you see how much fucking movement is going on? All of these, that shake that's in their stick, that's them doing feints against the other person that quick. Where am I going to come from? Where am I going to go? Cha-cha-cha, back. Can't move away. They're actually afraid of getting hit too, because A, it's a point against you, and B, it fucking hurts. Dude, these chicks are fucking monstrous. If you give them real fucking blades, they'll fight the same way. You know what I mean? It's less rules. You wouldn't do it in a street fight, would you? Yeah, they didn't have street fight rules. It's the professionals don't cheat. Dude, these guys know how to do this shit with a real fucking blade. I goddamn guarantee it, and it's going to come hot at you. there's a difference between movement, style, and speed. It's every fighting with a real intent to kill or be killed, and to play fight with a weapon. I mean, yeah. Fucking sick, dude. Sorry, I'm just watching like real mastery of something real quick. Fucking dope. This fucking shit is my favorite. It's my favorite to watch. It, like, when I see it, it just looks so fucking cool, and it makes no sense to me how it's done. Look at these fucking moves. These sound like they're made out of polyurethane, but I think that's fine because at a certain point, like, I don't think with the rapiers, because it's a thrusting weapon and it's got torque and it can bend and stuff, you can let it bend and still get to the touch. You know what I'm saying? Like when they're doing those. And the kendo attack is very down and side strikey. You know, it's very like pa 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 and sticks and it bends. With these, the way that the saber has to work, I don't think you could probably do full steel. You'd probably have to use a lighter like polyurethane or something, because they're whipping these things at each other as fast as baseball bats, and I don't know what padding can protect you from that and let you also show off mastery. So fucking cool. Leg strike. The putting your hand on your back is the fucking coolest part. Look, he wasn't ready. He got him. Fucking poked. It's just fucking incredible. Like, there's so much. That's the real point, I think, that I want to end this conversation and the night. Holy fuck, I stayed an hour over. I didn't even realize. I am very passionate about martial arts. And, like, I think this shit is extremely, extremely fucking interesting. And Sellsword had a very good point. Go and enjoy your content. But what he's trying to articulate is this is real sword fighting. That shit's fucking cool. You can, if you can learn that. If you find people in your neighborhood and stuff, if you're young, especially, you've got a lot of youthful years, you could probably even still compete if you hop out there. If you're fucking sneaking around, you're a 15, 16-year-old Shad fan, and you're getting ready to say stupid shit in the comments, how about instead get off and go fucking learn how to sword fight? You could just do it. You could be whipping around the fucking Saracen sabers, clicking off of people's fucking heads and shit, having a good time, learn how to fucking fence. That is what the depressing thing about it is. Watching fucking Shadiversity hog around in his backyard with his out of shape 2-pack-a-day habit-having friend, sounding like any goddamn dinner scenes at The Sopranos, breathing their fucking asses off through the entire fucking thing, barely showing off any demonstration of not even mastery of the craft, understanding of it. Like, why would you watch that horse shit when he's doing anything other than like, hey, I made a cool version of the sword. Maybe that. You know, that's kind of neat. All right. It's novelty content. That's the thing. Like, Shadiversity is a novelty content creator. It's novelty. It's popcorn, horse shit. It's trash. Sometimes trash is fine. You know what I mean? Like I said, we all eat Hot Pockets. But at the end of the day, it is very disappointing that there's really fucking cool shit out here that people could be building an audience around. That is extremely entertaining and shows off mastery, skill, talent, perseverance, dedication. Honestly, another thing that's lacking from the Shadiversity thing, a sense of sportsmanship as well. You know, a desire to let somebody else fucking like shine as just an opponent and stuff. I think those aspects of those other things are great. Like, combat sports are fucking phenomenal. They're cool as shit. HEMA has its issues because all martial arts have issues. Everything on earth has problems. It's just how it is. But the biggest issue with Shad's content is it's inaccurate and it's bad. Like, there's no passion in it. You're not going to learn anything. It's weird to hear him talking so much. Do you think any of the people who are like the professional sword fighters that we saw, like paid paid to poke people with swords in a non-lethal. Do you think any of them just sit there like, what I think I could do with my two things strapped to, like, it's such a weird thing. If it was just, hey, I'm being goofy, I'm in my fucking backyard, it looks like medieval times back here, and me and my 3 dipshit fucking peasants are gonna pal around and have a good time, everyone's fine. No one laments the existence of the Critical Role people for not being accurate about swords. Why? Because no one in Critical Role is like, hey, my imagined way of a barbarian swinging a sword is not only accurate, it's actually kind of fucking weird that you said it was wrong. No, they're just like, we're just doing play pretend and having a good time. Which Shad is doing play pretend, but he's having a bad time. And then he's getting mad at other people when they don't also, like, basically play along with his self-delusion that he is some sort of medieval martial arts expert when he really is just Australian Steven Seagal. And I think I can end it there because Jesus Christ.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like